Welcome back. It's another Saturday night. I did not come here last Saturday night, so I'm going to wait a couple of minutes. I don't know who will show up this evening. I realize it was a last-second thing here today that I posted the upcoming program. But as always, I'm glad to be here, so we'll see what happens. I know we're in the summertime. I know people are busy, and I know people are doing many different things to try and take their time to watch a half hour or so of me, of all people. But obviously, we'll wait a couple minutes. I should have, like I said, posted ahead of time, but I didn't, and that's where we are. But no matter what, who watches now, watches later, it really doesn't matter. But you'll see the title of the program. You'll see what we're going to be talking about this evening. Oh, good evening. Good to see you, Brother Jorge. Nice to see you, sir. I hope everything is going well in your neck of the woods. I know I skipped 1 week and felt guilty all week for skipping 1 week, but I'm back here this week. So here I am. I hope you and your family are doing well up there. Beautifully scenery. That's one thing I guess I would miss up in the northern area is the woods. Yeah, it's real nice up in that area. I think about it once in a while. I think I told you before, make sure you hit that Kangamangas Highway. I'm telling you. That's a beautiful highway. Although I think you said you may have hit it once before, but it is beautiful up there. That and Loon Mountain. I think Loon Mountain might be further east of where you might be located. But you saw the title. I'll just go ahead and start now. And whoever gets in now or later, we'll talk about it. But I think you and I have talked about this previously, and I've made videos on this, and it really weighs on my mind a lot. With everybody out there trying to profit off of God, I just keep on looking at it, and should Christian men be working, or Christians? We'll just say it that. Born again Christians, should they be working? I think we have to take a couple of different angles at this. I think it is, to use a terrible phrase, it's simple but complex, I guess, at the same time. Excuse my unprofessional drinking of my water. But we have a lot of men today that like to. There are obviously the keyboard warriors, but I'm not talking about them so much. But a lot of men puff themselves up to be some sort of preacher or pastor or some sort of teacher, and I never have. I started this channel with a different title, which I thought was precocious. After a while, I felt like it was putting too much on me instead of what we should be doing as brothers and sisters out there. We are all called to be ministers, so to speak. We are all here to spread the gospel. There are men out there who, unfortunately, and women, unfortunately, which is a whole another unbiblical stance, but that profit off of this and feel the need to do YouTube videos. They collect money from the government, or they collect money from donations. And I know some are going to go, oh, you're just jealous because you don't make money off of YouTube. No, I'm not, because we're not supposed to. That's what fascinates me. And as I worked a long week this week, no complaint about it, but I was getting home about 10:30 every night. So putting in about 14 hours a day. I was just covering another guy out on Nashville and doing his run, which no big deal there. But and I didn't get a video up. But usually I do 10 to 13-hour shifts a day, and I'm able to get the video up that night if I get home early enough in the evening. But that's what we're supposed to do. If you're going to sit here and be on here and talk, first of all, you got to handle all the slings and arrows. And trust me, with the recent episodes that I've been doing, I've been getting a lot of slings and arrows, which doesn't bother me. The part that bothers me is people who think they know more than they actually do, or claim to. Oh, God. All right. The first change that happened to me immediately after salvation was taking work seriously. I didn't before. Fair enough. I was afraid of heights. Oh, and started praying on my way up ladders when I was terrified. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at that, but I like that. Praying on your way up the ladder. I like that. Yeah. That's another thing. That's interesting you say that. I mean, if you find you realize you have to work. I've always had a problem with pastors who weren't what they call bivocational. and I work there and I pastor on the weekend. Okay, I mean that's fair enough. I mean, but then some people like become a full time, and I think the problem with the newer modern churches and stuff like that, what they did is they learned from the '80s preachers and the '90s and so forth, and saying, look, you can make money. And I think there are some folks who go into seminaries and studies and thinking, hey, listen, I want to make a difference. But that's how it always happens is they come out the other side not making the difference that I think they wanted to make going into it. And that becomes an issue. It becomes who they part of what they need and how to survive. And again, we should be able to help one another, brothers and sisters out there. If one needs help, there's nothing wrong with that. Somebody needs a $10 spot. Hey, that's the way it works. They're down on their luck with food. If you can send a care package to somebody, fantastic. But the fact that men are, and there are some decent guys who, I shouldn't say decent guys, let me rephrase, that put up decent videos and stuff like that. And I don't have a problem with that. But when we cross the line of accepting money for what we do, you should not be doing this for money. You should not be doing it for money at all to survive in any sort of way. That's not what spreading the gospel is supposed to be. Unless you're a missionary, unless you're out on the field like Paul was, and when they were traveling town to town, because people always make that same argument. Well, look, Paul thanked people for everything he got. Right, he never asked for it. Well, my pastor never asked for it. I just gave it. Yeah, he asked for it. You know how he asked for it? Because it's implied, because he's a pastor. You've been taught that. Now, with pastors, let's talk about that for a second. There are a lot of guys out there who have the YouTube channel and say, no, I'm not about the pastor thing like that. Well, you kind of are. If you're always acting like a pastor, against mega churches, but you have an internet mega church. That's what you have. But I don't go to church building. No, but you still have people. Stop pretending that you're not something, okay? People get worried they're going to be called things and like, well, I'm not a pastor or anything like that. Well, when you start doing what you're doing, you are. Now, should there be full-time pastors? Can there be a argument? And now someone's going to say, some will say there's no such thing as word pastor. That's not what I'm talking about. It's only mentioned. It's not mentioned in the New Testament. It's mentioned one time. But I also don't believe in pastors in the version of what we see that it was turned into. I don't mind preachers. I don't mind teachers. There's nothing wrong with that. But we become the den of thieves. We become all the other guys. And, when Jesus walked in there, was flipping over the tables. Well, that's what's going on. Guys, men have to stop this nonsense. You want to tell people what it's like to be in the world. You want to tell people how to live their lives. You want to tell people how to approach everyday issues when you, in fact, do not deal with everyday issues. Well, I'm on a very limited income because I only get so much donations per month. Excuse me? Get up, get off the couch, get out to work, and do a job. Now, I'm not telling you have to go to a bar, drive a beer truck. I'm not saying you have to be a bartender. I don't have to say there's certain things you don't have to do. I understand as a born-again Christian, you have to be much more selective what you do. I had to do that when I moved to Tennessee to have to get a new job because obviously not working up in the Northeast anymore. I had to be very selective. It's very hard. I absolutely understand that. It's difficult to find a job that's not going to be something that you feel that will be against God. Not every job glorifies God, but you can find jobs that are not against God, and that's what you have to do. It's easy to tell people how to run their lives. It's easy to tell people what to do day by day when you don't have to work for a living, when you don't have to get your meat. Could I sit here and turn this place into, which I will make this area nicer areas on this pod shed, but I won't do it off of donations because I'll do it off our money that we earn. That's what will happen here. That's how it works. If I ever take donations, which I don't even mind if you donate to somebody, but that money you donate to whatever person or program or podcast, whatever, all of that money 100% should not go to anything to do with that person, but it should go into gospel tracts. It should go into Bibles handing out. It should go to everything involved with going out on the streets and spreading the word of God. It should not be to sustain you. Now, we're going to have a question of like, well, what if Christians disabled? I understand that. That's a weak argument, a straw man's argument. Clearly, someone who's disabled, it can't do certain things. So I never like that conversation because you're just creating a so to speak, a hypothetical that very rarely happens. Okay, you're making again, like I said, a straw man's argument. But there are men out there who work. There are men who work harder than me. I'll tell you what, I bet you brother Jorge works a lot harder than me. A lot harder than me. I just drive around the whole state, making sure that we get aftermarket fenders, bumpers, and stuff like that to multiple. I just have to deal with traffic. I'm blessed because I get to talk to people along the way and hopefully spread the word and witness to someone and find any reason to talk about God and leave gospel tracts in every gas station that I'm in, every single rack, every person who will take one out of my hand. But that's not hard work. So tell me how someone can identify with people who are hardworking individuals in this world when they themselves do not. Now, a man who's got to the 60s and stuff like that, he's retired and he wants to start going on YouTube and doing things and maybe getting a little money. I'm not worried about that because it's kind of like taking care of your elders. It's not a concern to me. I'm not 60. I know I look like I'm 80, but I really ain't. So where do we draw that fine line? That's my content. You wake up earlier than I do. Well, yeah, but you work harder than me. I still, I get up early. What do I get up around? Usually around 3:30. I'm up at 3:30 in the morning, and I don't get home till sometimes 8:30, 9:30, whatever it may be, 7:30. Well, this week was 10:30, but but I wake up and I drive. That's what I do. I drive around the whole state. Well, not the whole state. Eastern side of Tennessee, sometimes into Georgia, a little bit of Virginia, close to Kentucky, Nashville. But you got to go in there and work every day. Your job matters more, Jorge, because if you mess up one nail, if you mess up one beam, if you mess up one 2x4, if you mess up the sheetrock, if you hang it raw, any of that stuff, that's a big deal. So, and I appreciate you making the point that I wake up earlier. That's nice of you to say, but you clearly, you're above me on this one. But and there are a lot of guys out there who think they have a hard job. You don't. You don't. It's not that big of a deal. But we have to start questioning, and it's more and more out there. We have to question: should I follow someone like that? Because there's a difference between, I think, follow and subscribe. People subscribe to channels, and that's different channels, and that's fine. There's some who follow people in almost religious way. Religiously, they follow these folks, and that's not a good thing. People can do what they want, free will, but I just can't follow guys like that. I cannot follow men who pretend to have a handle on things. And if you listen to them long enough, you start questioning, like, have you ever had a job in your entire life? Because they don't know. Men that I've listened to over the years that I do appreciate, and I don't mean they're just people on YouTube, I mean people in general in life, were the godly men that I listened to were hard-working men. They were godly and hardworking. And those two things should go together. Not godly and hardly working. See the difference there? Well, I have a lot to do. I have to study. I have to write up these things and No, you can study hard. You can study hard. You can prepare your sermons and sermonettes and all things like that. You don't have to say, well, I just don't have the time. I have to be here. And those of you on the internet, preachers, who are you there for? Are you taking Zoom calls all day long? I hope so. I hope you're talking to a bunch of people every day. In fact, if you're going to sit home and you're going to collect from people who work their tails off to make that money and donate to you, you better be working your tail off and being out on the streets all day long, spreading the word of God. Not I made some videos safely behind the camera, and I got to look like a tough guy for a little while. And somebody's like, boy, you're full of animosity and anger. Yeah, I am, because I'm getting sick and tired of it. I'm tired of seeing men be propped up like they're so much more important than other people. And you look at them, and you look at the folks out there who follow them. They can barely make ends meet, but they're going to try to donate to them because they're a man of God and they're preaching, and I should give them money to get me through and help me through my times. I'm like, what are you talking about? He should be not your pastor preacher down to you, preaching down to you. He should be your brother is what he should be. He should be by your side in the trenches of the warfare, the spiritual warfare of this life, but he won't be, but he'll give you a few pieces of advice. He might throw a scripture out once in a while at you, maybe. Or maybe he'll say, well, this is the approach you should take. Or how about the fact Jorge will enjoy this part? Brother Jorge, you'll enjoy this. They always say things like, well, this is what I would have done. And not do it. It looks like you threw something up there. Okay. And as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and worshipped him. But Peter took him up, saying, stand up, I myself also am a man. Acts chapter 10, verse 25 and 26. Yes. But that's not what's going on. In the church buildings or on the internet, we are propping these people up more than a man. And we're sending money to these men. Some of these men don't work for a living. They live off your donations. They live off the government. They live off military funds. Now, there are people go, well, I served 30 years in the army. I'm not talking to you. I'm not. And thank you for serving something you probably know now that you got lied to about. And I get it, because I used to be that guy years ago, Mr. Patriot, right here, until I learned and I studied. These men are not better than you. I'm not better than you. You know, I am no greater than Jorge. Jorge, he's no greater than I am. My brother Jeremy out there, I tell him the same thing. I'm no better than he is, but he's no better than I am. We're brothers. But that's the problem. Someone always has to be in charge of something. I understand that when you get something together, somebody has to spearhead a situation. No problem. If you got 4 guys with you, you're going to go down to the local park down here, like Kefauver is the one down in my area, and you got to set up. Somebody's got to spearhead. Some people are just better at that. Some people can organize it a little better. There's nothing wrong with that. We all have something to bring to the game. But understand the elevation. Not only do we as Christians elevate these people up on the stage, but the stage is already elevated above you. It's kind of strange if you think about it. But I can keep talking about that forever. But the next thing I wanted to get into is something that I've gotten a few, not text, email thingamajiggies, backdoor channels in the email system there. These Christian chat forums. I've actually never been officially part of any one. I was told to join one that I reluctantly came in, and he wanted me to so I'm like, yeah, okay. And I would listen, and I'm thinking to myself, it's dead. It's cold. I don't know what's going on here. But what I've heard is people will be kicked out of these little cult chat forums because they may have had a slight disagreement. Interesting. Like these episodes I do, I've not kicked anybody off the channel or deleted the comments that didn't agree with me. I try to have a discussion. They may not like it. We may disagree. They go their way. So be it. But when you're on a Christian chat forum, born-again Christian, supposedly, and it's not just one. There's so many of them out there. There's just tons of them. Are you not a cult leader? if you're kicking people off, that they might disagree. Now, I'm not saying if they came in with some really bad stuff they're saying, some really bad theology or anything like that. But I'll tell you, there are probably places that if you were a Christian forum, you would say women shouldn't be pastors, or you're getting kicked out, or women should stay home, you're getting kicked out. There's nothing wrong with women being preachers. A lot of different things. Well, men should go to work. I bet you I get kicked out of a lot of forums on that one, that men should work only, not collect money. But they find, from what I've heard from different people, they find the stupidest reasons, because you know why? They feel threatened. They're a burgeoning cult leader, and they feel threatened by what they have to say. So they're like, you know what? We got to get these guys out of here. I don't want any challenge in my authority. Your authority? You ain't got no authority. There's only one. Okay? This is your authority, my friend. I don't belong to chat forums. There's a lot of weird stuff in those things. I do not understand why no one's having a serious conversation. And for those of you who watch this now and watch this down the road, I don't have a chat forum. What my wife and I did do is we decided to put together a Facebook page connected to this podcast, BAC Network, that pretty much it's just her in there. So it's for women. It's for women to safely talk. And that's another thing. You have these co-ed chats, which is fine in the real world, but when you're talking about born-again Christians, men should be with men, women should be with women in a different form, because women can't talk to each other like they would if men are around. They're different. Men can't be free to have a conversation with other men if women are there. Use your brain when it comes to this. It needs to be separated. Women are with women, men are with men, and they have their conversations. They help each other through things. And this is no knock on women at all. Women are uncomfortable talking about women things with strange men. They're fine talking to strange women. You know that this is an old story. They'll go and have a conversation with another woman in a bathroom somewhere in a restaurant. No issues. We can't just kick people out for a slight disagreement. Then you're a pretty bad Christian or a pretty weak one. So for those of you who are doing it, stop doing it. If you can't solve the problem, or if you can't have a decent conversation without being angry at all the people, then don't have it. Don't have it. Like for this here in the episodes that I'm doing right now, I'm not kicking anybody off. I'm not saying, oh, this guy, this crazy person doesn't agree with the way I think, so I'm not going to answer him, and I'm going to cut them off, and I'm going to block them. No, that's childish. You have no maturity at all. You can pretend it all you want, but you ain't got to actions speak louder than words. I'm doing all the talking, Brother Jorge. I apologize. I know it's my channel supposedly, but you know how I am. Want to hear for everybody. I know other people will watch it down the road, but it's important to realize these things. I can't, for me, I can't in good faith follow men who don't work for a living. I grew up in a time frame that a real man went to work every day. You know, the old saying, blood, sweat, and tears. Oh, they went to work every day. They did the best they could. They may not have the greatest job in the world. They may not have made the greatest amount of money, but they went to work every day, fought like heck every day. I said heck, now somebody's going to get on my case. By design, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I know you're going to get me on that one. I love you, brother, but you're going to get me on that one. I know you will. They work, and they work hard to support their family, to keep their family fed. My wife doesn't work. She stays at home. I make the money here. Not a whole lot of money, but I make money. She stays home and rears the kids. Not because she's ignorant and she's like, well, my job is a woman and I have to do what my husband tells me to do because that's the Old Testament way and I don't want to get beat. That's how a lot of the new Christians, the new versions, the new modern Christians think. Like, well, I can't believe a woman's home. Why can't she can do what a man can do? No, she can't. And a man can't do what a woman can do. It's pretty easy to figure that out. And if you have some fake pastor, preacher, or whatever you want to call them, telling you differently, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. Well, how can you say that you're better? Read the Bible. I guess it depends on which Bible, doesn't it? Because if you've been watching my episodes lately, you know it kind of matters, doesn't it? And I tell you what, if any of those folks are watching tonight, thank you. Thank you very much for the slings and arrows. I'm loving every moment of it. You've proven my exact point that I didn't even have to make. Women and men are different. They go this way. They go this way. They come back together. I can't believe I'm just fascinated. And what bothers me most, it's not even the ones that are kind of effeminate pastors. No offense, some are just a little feminine, or the tight jeans ones, and all them, or the ones that have some weird nice little cardigan and all weird. I don't know. People. The newer pastors these days kind of just dress very strangely, in my opinion. But even the guys who claim to be tough guys, they're just as fake as the other ones. Because you're not working either. Please understand, what I tell you here is not out of jealousy. It's not out of malice. It's not out of hate. You want to be a real man, go to work. Protect your family. Take care of your family. And above all, God should be at the head of that. And you ask for his guidance every day. You pray every day, Lord, how can I be a better man? How can I be a better father? How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better leader for this family? It shouldn't be God. How can I make a better sermon? How can I make more money? How can I get another book out? How can I make people watch my channel, donate as much money as possible to keep me alive? That's not what you should be doing. Did I get a link there? I didn't mean to get my voice up. Gone are the days of the real men. Look around you. Even the men who are preaching about how unmanly people are, you yourself are not a man. Well, I can chop wood and I can change a tire. There is more than some of those physical things to be a man. Stop making money on YouTube and everywhere else if you're a so-called preacher, pastor. Stop. Go get a job and do this at night. Do this as you can put things up. And by the way, no pastor, no preacher, no teacher is meant to have 100,000 followers. Stephen, what are you going to do if you get 100,000 followers? What do you want me to do? I mean, there's 100,000 of them there. But you know what I will tell every one of those subscribers? Every one of them, if I haven't made 100,000, trust me, that's not even going to happen. 10,000 is not going to happen. But listen, I'm going to say the same thing then and as I say now. You want to send me money? Fine. You know where that money's going? Straight to Bibles. Straight to gospel tracts. Not my pocket. Not the electricity. Because that's my responsibility. Not a new computer, not a video system, not this webcam, not the chair over there, not the chair I'm sitting. That's my responsibility. That's what I need to do. If I'm a man, that's what I'm going to do. Not take your money for my personal stuff. I have said before that it's sad that a lost man can be a harder working man and a better provider than a saved person without the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. I should act like one of the Southern Baptists. Can I get an amen? I'm not Southern Baptist. I'm just saying. At what point do people realize exactly what Brother Jorge is saying? There are men out there barely eking out a living because they're trying to just feed their wife. Maybe it's one kid, maybe it's two kids, maybe it's three. I don't know. Well, you got these men out there And the worst part is, since I'm a King James guy, that's what bothers me the most, is the men who hold this Bible up. And they will swear an oath to this Bible, but they will not lead the lives they're supposed to do and guided by this Bible. I didn't want to put that hard. Sorry, Lord, did not mean to put the Bible down that much. And when I say that, I'm not saying I idolize this one Bible. People get that a lot confused all the time. But I need to do this. I need to do that. And by the way, if you are led by the Holy Spirit and you are born again and saved, you should not be going, you know what I need? I need a brand new 2022 vehicle. We'll probably make the payments. Yeah, we can make the payments. Maybe get a bigger house. We need a bigger house. Well, I need nicer clothes. Because I notice Julie over there is wearing a better dress than me. I notice Bob's got a new shovel. I want a new shovel. I like that cobalt shovel. That's a nice shovel. Actually, I just bought a cobalt shovel. I guess I shouldn't say that. Need a digging shovel. Realized I had no digging shovel for my wife's clothesline. Yes, we have a solar power clothesline. I call it the solar power dryer machine there. That's a clothesline. And it's sad that I can almost give more respect, as Jorge said. Well, he didn't use the word respect. More respect for a secular man out there going to work every day. And then watching these men, these so-called men, who don't do anything for a living. And there's not just one. There's not just two. There's not just 3, 4. There's many of them out there. I just can't follow people like that. And then there'll be people who say, well, I can't follow a guy like you. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, you're not breaking my heart there. I think it's sad because it sends the wrong message to other Christians that you witness to. If you go out and you witness and they say, I don't ask people what they do for a living. They find out, wait, you don't have a job? Well, no, I live off I collect donations and people give me money. And I'm like, so you like a church? Well, no, I don't have a church building one. But people just give you money to preach about God? Yeah, but you have no church. No. You're on the internet? Yeah. And you have no job? No. You're a loser. That's what happens. That's the fruit right there. People are looking and going, So that guy wants me to be a Christian, doesn't have a job, sponges off of everybody else, lives off of everyone else. That's what it comes down to. But I'm not against donating. I'm not against giving money to an organization, I guess you can say. But the money has to be 100% going out the door. There are some people who are just not comfortable with handing out Bibles and handing out gospel tracts. Well, then you're part of being a Christian is you're helping others do that, and that's fine. But you know why some of these fake guys, and they preach some pretty good stuff, but, and I'm not lying, they got some pretty decent stuff. Sometimes they kind of robbed it from other people and kind of made their own. I've noticed that. I forgot where I was going with it. I'm sorry. I guess I get a little heated over it. I thought I wouldn't talk about that long, but I guess I'm talking about it as long as I thought. And again, these Christian chat forums, man, oh man, what is going on? You got some messed up people leading these Christian chat forums out there. I don't understand. These are people who can't keep a job. These are people who can't function in society. They probably never could before. And that's what it comes down to. They got a chip on their shoulder. They want to be somebody. They want to be better than they are. I mean, I want to be better than I am. I want to be a better servant to God than I am right now. Obviously, that's what our goal is. I want to be a better husband and a better father. I don't always succeed on the husband part. There are sometimes trash doesn't get taken out. Sometimes there are some socks next to my bed. My wife will tell you that. I don't want her to tell you that, but she would. We've lost our way. I'm not talking about the nation losing its way. I'm not even talking about the men in the secular world. I'm talking about professing Christian men. They've lost their way. They're more concerned about what they look like, how they look, what they dress like. Is my sermon good enough? You think people will buy in? Can I sell more merch? I think that's, my son told me that's the word you use when you sell merchandise on YouTube and stuff like that. They call it merch. What is going on? And I understand it's easy to get caught up for a moment and go, well, I mean, it's got scriptures on it and stuff. And okay. What about this? If you're going to have merch, have 100% of the profit of that merch go right back into gospel tracts. Cover your costs. Let's say you have a bumper sticker that you sell. You're selling it for $8, okay? You sell it for $8 and the profit margin on that is $1. So that $7 goes into the bumper sticker and that $1 goes inside the gospel tracts, not in your pocket for the electricity you run. You shouldn't be living off donations. You're just sponging off it. You're just a guy on the couch. You're just a guy on the couch at that point, just loafing through town, just sponging off all this. Now I know I'm going to get a lot of hate. I might even lose subscribers. And when I say this next statement, I don't want anyone to take this wrong. I don't care about losing subscribers, but I do. I don't want to lose anybody. But if I'm going to lose somebody for standing on the principles that are given to me by this Bible, this King James Bible, so be it. I never got into this to have 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, 80,000 subscribers. That's not what I got into this for. I was bothered by some of the things that were, I believe, to be error. So I started making it. I made this channel and got it out there. That's why it's here. And if anyone has ever helped in any small iota, I'm amazed at it. I'm blessed, and I'm truly humbled that anything could help anybody. But that's what we're all supposed to do. It's just not me. Every born again Christian out there. That's why it's called the BAC Network, the Born Again Christian Network. It's not about the Stephen Network or the Stephen and Jorge Network or the Stephen and Jeremy Network, the Stephen and Joe and the Stephen and Bob and the Stephen. It's Born Again Christians. I know I monopolized a lot of time here. I wonder if I went longer than I thought I did. Well, 38 minutes. Jorge, I don't know 100% of your feelings. I know you mentioned that last comment about that. And anyone who watches this later, hey, leave your comments. Whether you agree with me, disagree with me, I have no problem with that. I try to answer everybody's comment that I can, if I can. I was saying that in the last episode. I was like, I try to answer everybody's comments I can. I don't duck anybody. I don't try to hide. I don't try to delete. I don't try to, pretend. And will I miss some people? Yeah, I'll miss it and not answer. Not because I meant to, just, you get busy. A lot of people being led down a wrong road. Bad examples are being set by men who don't work. Think about your children, too. You don't think your children look up to you now because they're 4 years old, 5 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, whatever it may be. But they do. And what legacy are you going to leave behind? That you made money from God? That you profited off of YouTube by just staying home all day? I want my boys to look at their father one day and go, you know what? Number one, he was a man of God and he never swayed. He never swaying. He never backed down. Not in a tough guy way. He just never backed down. He stood his ground. He worked hard, and he did the best he could to support his family and live his life for God. I don't want my kids to say, I love my dad. He profited. He made good money. He did all right. And people donated to him, and he stayed home all the time. He didn't have a job. That's the legacy. That's the legacy you leave. I'm going to try to go away from that now, unless someone makes a comment. But I'm going to kind of go back to the Christian chat forum here and probably end up off that. But if you've been part of one, and you've been alienated by people for something that should not have been something that was an alienation or something you should be kicked out, I'm sorry. As a born-again Christian, I'm going to tell you right now, they don't represent born-again Christians. Anyone who does that does not represent what a true born-again Christian or born-again believer should be. If you have a question and a real question and you're just trying to seek answers, but they don't like it because they think you're trying to cause strife or division. Strife, those are the popular words, by the way. Strife, division, and for women, Jezebel. Those are three right there. That's not going to happen here. You won't get that from my wife on the Facebook now. She doesn't post all the time on Facebook. Raising kids, obviously, but I don't really get into that Facebook because I want that really just to be a safe place, so to speak, for women to talk without us crazy guys getting involved. I'm on X, which I never thought I would be, or Twitter. I put that on there because that's usually what guys more tend to do. If anything, they'll go on the YouTube and the Twitter or the X, whatever it's called now. Sorry. We're living in a world of a lot of deceivers. Well, we've been living in a world of a lot of deceivers, but more so than ever before. It gets worse. It gets worse. It's not going to get any better. I love how people keep on thinking there's going to be this great betterness. Great betterness. I think I just coined a new term. Make America great betterness. Yeah. And I'm not even getting that whole thing. That's crazy town. I used to be a guy into that stuff. Don't feel broken. Don't feel sad. Don't feel beat down because some ignorant Christians out there are trying to tell you you're a bad person because you had a question. That ain't right. And men who don't work, but they want to put out preaching videos, I pray that you see that this is wrong. In my opinion, it's just wrong. With that, Jorge, I think I'm gonna, Brother Jorge, I know you, there's a few people here watching, but Brother Jorge, I know you're on here. I think I'll wrap it up. I think if you don't have anything else to say or anything to add, I'll call it an evening, but man, a lot of deception. And I see it happening. Well, it happens in all the church buildings, holding all the versions. But I think there is a lot of infiltrators into the King James world. And I think there are some in the King James world who are just being manipulated by others. I hope. I give advice, I guess, to anyone, or I don't know, advice the right word, but everybody out there who thinks I'm wrong, nothing wrong with that, by the way, and want to disagree with me, please do so. I don't have an issue with that. There should be a dialogue. There should be not a conversation. This isn't me making a video, you listen and shut your mouth and listen to me. No, that's not what this is. I know a lot of other people do that. I get that. It's an open dialogue. All right. I'm going to end up awkwardly ending this video tonight, but that went a little longer than I thought it was. I thought I'd do a half hour. So again, Brother Jorge, everybody else is watching right now, and everybody will be watching down the road. I am honestly always grateful. I'm always thankful and absolutely humbled. Um, my subscribers, whether they're haters or likers of my channel, is gone up to 309, and that just blows my mind because I would think anybody would want to follow this old guy, but I'm thankful. I really am. I was talking to my wife the other day, and I says, "Remember when I made that video thanking the 16 subscribers? Maybe I'll make another one thanking the 309 because I am thankful. I don't want to ever end." And that's another thing I never see. I never see any thankfulness and gratefulness on anybody's part in any videos. I watch men out there, these Christian men, but I don't hear them saying thank you. Thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for making comments. I'm grateful. But you're a Christian. You're a born-again Christian, and you can't be humbled. And you can't be humble. And you can't be thankful and grateful. Come on. It's too bad. All right, now I'm going to finally end this. Again, thank you for everybody who's watching and watching down the road. I repeat again, I am thankful and I am grateful for everyone who takes your time, because in this world today, with everything we got going on, it's hard to put aside half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. You're raising kids, you got a family, you're doing lots of things. So I'm thankful for that. I truly am. And with that, I'll tell you, God bless and have a beautiful evening, and I will awkwardly shut this down. Good night.